Hi, Eric. Thank you for joining us today. Um, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about what you guys are doing over at DuPont?
Sure. So I'm Eric Beyeler. I am the Global Marketing Manager for our Artistri Digital Inks. I've been with DuPont a few years and been about over a dozen years in the world of digital printing. As most of the people know, we have been active in digital inks since the early 1990s, evolving, if you want, from the home and office market to the textile market and today to the commercial and the next frontier, if you want, which is the packaging printing market. So a lot of innovation, a lot of science, a lot of customer interactions, which is really the most important, of course. But that's what we've been doing for a while, and we're continuing here in 2021, challenged like everybody else is with the overall conditions of the pandemic. But the good news is we have managed to stay very close to our customers and helping them in really this digital transformation that I think more and more everybody is very interested in and sees it's a great benefit to them, their businesses, and our society in general.
Absolutely. So, what is DuPont showcasing at WTiN Innovate?
So what we are showcasing is some of, I think, some great ink tools to accelerate the digital transformation. So if you think about, if you read a lot of the comments and what everybody's talking about is what are we looking for in this digital transformation? We're looking to, to reduce the length of our supply chain. We're looking to reduce our environmental footprint. We're looking to reduce our inventories, and we still want to deliver to the customer what they want, right, and what they need. And so what's really, to me, very exciting is that particularly our portfolio of pigment inks for textile, and this goes from direct to garment to roll, and now, of course, direct to film, right? So our portfolio of pigment inkjet inks really are very well suited to answer this call for reduced environmental footprint, reduced supply chain, improved supply chain, localization, and so forth, because the processes that are associated with pigment digital printing are really on the lower end of the investment of the physical footprint and, of course, on the environmental footprint. So, all these are positive. Now, we, of course, have a broad portfolio. Dye sublimation, for example, is another ink category that really suits this, low footprint, reduced low footprint overall, right? From, again, physical footprint to environmental footprint. And we have those. And of course, we've been known for a long time for some of the unique attributes of our inks, be it from direct disperser or acid inks. So all these, of course, are available here and will be displayed as part of the WTiN Innovate show.
And at the show as well, I think you mentioned in your press release, you'll be doing some educational seminars at the booth. And what will these cover?
Yes, so this is, again, what we are, thanks to WTiN, there's a unique platform that has been developed for us to communicate to our customers, right? So we try and as I said, it's very important within the pandemic to stay close to our customers. So how do we do that? When there's no international trade shows or the trade shows are limited, we all have limited travel situations. So this is a time for us to go and think a little bit beyond, I would call it the normal commercial, right? In the normal commercial, we push about, here's the attributes of our inks. We have great inks. Please come and check with us. What we're trying to do in this WTiN Innovate is focus on the innovation and the science piece of it. So you will have one of my colleagues, Faye, is going to tell you a little bit about, as a developer, as an ink developer, how did she come about to generate our newest P2700 mid-viscosity inkjet ink, give you more of the innovator's perspective and how the innovator understands what the customer needs are and then translates that into a new product. And then the one presentation that I will have is focusing on the DTG and DTF inks. What makes you choose one ink over the other? You know, thinking about the science behind the printing and say, what are these criteria that one would use using against science and data to go and select what the better ink is for your application. So these are two things. Then the third, I don't want to forget that our great R&D team, which of course is a perfect fit for the title of your trade show, you know, the Innovate title. They will give you a behind the scenes look in our R&D center. So I think that will be interesting. So these are three things that we typically don't do in a regular trade show. And I think we're going to use, you know, we are definitely using this platform to convey this message in a different way.
Sounds like they'll be really interesting, Eric. Thanks for that. But a bit of a more broader perspective then, how is the digital textile printing ink market at the moment? Are there any trends that we're seeing, you know, growth of pigments because of natural fibers, for example? And then you mentioned as well the BTF market, which has just kind of come out of nowhere, it seems, this year and have so much growth.
Yes, so very interesting. I would say the 2021, from a market standpoint, the way we view it is kind of a tale of two halves, right? In the first half, it was a very strong recovery, you know, from 2020, which obviously was a down year for most, okay? Except, and I say most because in 2020, we didn't see a downtime on pigment roll-to-roll printing. We saw continued growth, right? So I think the overall positive attributes that pigment roll-to-roll inks overcame the downside, if you want, of the pandemic. So in the first half, great recovery, everything is going forward. In the second half, I think what we're seeing is continued growth, but at a slower pace, okay? And I think there's a couple of reasons for that. Everybody in the world is being limited by the pandemic still, right? There's still logistics issues. We have some, you know, people up and down the value chain having staffing issues. All these things exist. And if you think about the fashion and apparel world, I think there's still a lot of turmoil and question about where is fashion and apparel going to end up as far as a market size overall. The good news for us is on the digital textile side is we are answering some of these questions that the apparel and fashion world is asking themselves. Okay, so we can answer the lower inventory, the lower water impact, all these things. So as we provide answers, we still have growth, but you have an after effect that overall that market or industry, if you want, is in flux. And then the final one is the signage market. You know, there are some trade shows, but the trade shows and public events in general are still on a limited fashion. So that inherently is impacting signage and to some extent also the garment industry, right? So if you have big t-shirt events like big sports events or you know, big music events, or even just your grandmother's birthday party, right? There's less of those, and whenever there are, there's less people. So all this has an impact, I think, that is giving you this this reduced growth in the second half. But I'm an optimist. You know, we're all, and I think 2022 is going to confirm a lot of these trends, and the growth is going to start accelerating again, because I think the world economies are going to continue to grow in 2022.
Great. Well, that would be good. I think one trend that has come out of the pandemic, I mean, it was obviously there before the pandemic, but sustainability during the pandemic and now post-pandemic, now we're kind of coming out of it, has really been propelled. Do you think that the digital textile printing market is adapting to this sustainability, and is it doing it fast enough, or what more can we do?
So I think part of it is, and I was mentioning the science and the data. I think everybody is always challenged about how much does digital textile printing really help you from a sustainability standpoint? I think we all agree it does. I think businesses in general and the whole value chain is still trying to understand what is the actual impact, because to go and move digital printing to, let's say, 6% to 20% of the textile printing world, there is some significant investment that needs to happen. Right? So it's not just decide tomorrow and do it, right? There has to be investment, and there's some value chain changes that need to occur. For those to occur, business people from, like, myself and others throughout the value chain have to make decisions to say, we're going to invest to transition. So, and I think the availability of investment funds today is still limited. So I think you have this this situation where mentally we're ready to change, but economically we're still making sure that there is the sufficient economic reason and business reasons for the value chain to move. And there's a big role to be played by all of us, because if us as consumers, we say, when I buy my shirt, my T-shirt, my curtains, and my sofa covers, I am looking for a digital solution, and I indicate that, if that is our preference, this preference and requirement will trickle up the value chain, and I think the changing will come quicker.
Okay, perfect. And back to DuPont then, what future developments is DuPont working on that we can look forward to, that you can reveal to us?
Yes, so everybody always wants me to disclose, what's coming out next. So more innovation, I can guarantee you that. So one of the things is the next actually trade show that we're going to be participating in is ISS next January up in Long Beach, California. And so my expectation, if I were a customer for us, is to see some new DTG inks. I think this is a good time for us to go and upgrade some of our inks, and we're in the process of doing that. We're not quite ready at this time to disclose the nature of these changes, but yes, you can expect some new DTG inks in 2022 from DuPont. And the other thing that I want to mention is DTF is an important development in the world of garment printing. And the change was that DTF always existed, if you want, to a lower level, or I would say an artisan level, when people used DTG printers to print on film and then transfer on T-shirts. The revolution that happened in 2020 is there's a series now of roll-to-roll, basically. It's roll-to-film, really, right? And printers that you can continuously print on film, and then you still have to do your manual transfer, but there's an economy of scale of doing it that way. So DTF has grown. And what I think is very interesting there is, although the initial impact of DTF is to take some share away from DTG, I think in the future, it's going to be another accelerator for the digital transformation. So going from your screen printing into digital printing. So I think overall, it's great to have that. And one of the things that I'll be mentioning in my talk, and then that will of course feature more at ISS, is our digital printing ink portfolio, be it if you print continuously or if you print on a batch basis like you do on the DTG world, is very well suited for the DTF process.
Okay, interesting. Thank you, Eric. I look forward to hearing more at Innovate, and also into 2022 as well, with hopefully some new ink. Thank you so much for your time.
Well, it's been a pleasure, and again, as you know, look forward first to being part of WTI Innovate trade show, but also hopefully in some of the physical trade show, run into your great group and team at WTIN. And thank you again for being a great tool for us to access our industry and communicate. So thank you.
Perfect, thank you. And if you'd like to find out more about DuPont and their offering, please do visit their booth at our Innovate trade show from the 25th to 29th of October. Thank you.
Thank you.